Talk to me a little bit about your background, your experience in
Okay.
meditation, in the mindfulness community. I know you've done retreats and been a part of different communities. Phil for you.
Right.
Where did you do the MBSR certification? Was that at UMass?
So started with UMass. I qualified at UMass, and then what year was that? When the teacher training program within the medical school. It was called, so there were two things going on in the medical school, UMass. There was the stress clinic that John Kabat-Zinn had started. Then there was the teacher training center
Mm-hmm.
that was training teachers. So around COVID time, I think maybe a little bit before that. Before that, 2017, something like that. I was qualified in 2016, and then around 2017, 2018, the UMass Medical School, some of the teachers started moving to Brown University, where a new mindfulness center opened.
Mm-hmm.
And many of my teachers moved there. So, and then the medical center, UMass Medical Center's teacher training, the whole center, mindfulness center, closed.
Mm.
And the Brown University, which had all my teachers by then, they opened it, saying that those of you who started there and but haven't finished, you can come to us and we will walk you through
Yeah, the remainder of your...
the remainder. So I finished there. So I got certified there by the same teachers, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
And then what's your other experience with mindfulness, insight? I think you said you've been to different...
Retreats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as part of your teacher training, you have to do a lot of retreats. So it's like, that's why it takes so long. It's not just like, taking the MBSR course is the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes this is a little bit, I don't know why they think it this way. Sometimes people come to me and say that, oh, if I take your course, then would you certify me so I can teach it?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be like, if I pass high school, can I teach high school? Right?
Yeah.
You have to go through the teacher training, right?
Right.
And it takes time. So, but specifically in MBSR, you have to teach it from your embodiment in the practice.
Mm-hmm.
And to be embodied in your practice, you have to practice a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you go to these retreats,
Yeah.
where you can practice for long times, many days, multiple days.
Yeah.
So then when I thought about retreat, I asked my friend Gita, with whom I had done the first MBSR in Austin. I have actually taken it twice with her, the 8-week program, before I became a teacher.
Yeah.
So she said that, if you're going to take a retreat, take it with one of the founders of the Insight Meditation Society. So she said you can take it with Jack Kornfield, Joseph Goldstein.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my first retreat with Jack Kornfield, and that was just amazing.
At Spirit Rock.
At Spirit Rock, yeah. And that was really amazing. And I almost fell in love with Spirit Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, something about that whole beautiful... Have you been there?
I haven't been.
Yeah, it's really located, there are these mountains and trails, and animals, birds.
It's north of San Francisco, right?
It's kind of northwest. There is a road that goes to Point Reyes from 101
Mm-hmm.
all the way to the west, and it's somewhere in the middle there. Sir Francis Dick, what is the name of the? It's a long name.
You fell in love, though, with
I
Spirit
fell
Rock.
in love with that whole, the whole setup. The people were so kind, and Jack was wonderful. He helped me a lot. So that, and then next year I did one. I thought, it would be nice to do a retreat with each of the founders.
Yeah.
Because people get old, they retire. I wanted to,
Experience their wisdom, in
wisdom
person.
before
Yeah.
it's late. So the next year I did it with Joseph Goldstein.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of repeated. I made it a point to go once a year to Spirit Rock, and I did it at least 10 days, 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly I increased the time. The longest I've done is 18 days. I haven't done a month long yet. I'd applied to one, didn't get in. It was one of those lottery things.
Yeah.
And so that has been my experience. So what happens is, so there are two things you do. You practice on concentration, on your breath.
Mm-hmm.
And doing that for some time sort of calms you down. And then you open up your awareness to include everything.
Yeah.
So after being well concentrated and anchored, grounded, when you open up, it depends, but when you are least expecting, some insight would just pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And it would always be related to your own context, so that it'll mean something to you. It may not, it will be something different for different people. But, something you really haven't thought about or done any reading, scholarly reading or anything like that, and it would just pop up,
You'll get an insight.
Yeah, just an insight. Then that's why it's called an insight. Yeah. But the thing is that it doesn't always happen.
Mm-hmm.
So one shouldn't be disappointed if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
If the conditions are right, then it'll happen. It's all dependent on so many other things. The first time I went, I was crying the whole time. Really. I mean, I had lost my father not long before that. And I don't know if I had a lot of grief inside me that needed to come out. And then it was such a beautiful, peaceful surrounding. And I was crying, and I didn't know if I was crying out of sadness or happiness. I really didn't know. It was such a weird mixture. And I told Jack, I said, I don't know if I'm crying because I'm happy or I'm sad. And Jack said something like, there is, in other cultures, there is a word that it can be either or, it can be anything,
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter why you are crying, but where do you feel it? And, so he had his way of taking me back to my body.
Yeah. Instead of interpreting the emotion, be with the emotion.
Exactly. The why is not important.
Yeah.
What is happening now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that emotion there?
Yeah.
What are you feeling in your body?
Yeah.
And
then the other thing that has happened to me is that, when you are meditating, all these elements come in. You may feel hot or cold, or you may, feel light or heavy. There was a time when it was like my bottom part of my body was heavy like a rock,
Mm-hmm.
and the top part of my body was so light, and I was kind of, part of me was wanting to fly and part of me was stuck to the ground.
Yeah.
And so, and I talked to Jack about it, and he would again bring me back to the body.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say that, okay, so where are you feeling it? And so then he said that, how big is it? What's the area? What's the shape of it?
What color is it? Yeah, all
Yeah,
those things.
all those things. And then he would say, so can you go to the outside of it or the edge of it?
Yeah.
You know, and can you find a place that's neutral? You know, so all of those things have helped me to, find my, so, but once he took me through that, and then after that, somehow I never had that. So I didn't know, maybe I was trying too hard. I was new, it was my first retreat.
He was leading you back to your body.
He was leading me back to my body to let the body's wisdom take care of
Yeah,
me.
we talked earlier about a preference for our mind now.
Yeah,
We're thinking so much, and the
exactly.
thinking's in the past or in the future,
Yeah.
interpreting, judgment.
And even when it's in the present, it's the head trying to interpret it.
Yeah.
Making
sense of things instead of
sense
just
of things.
being with.
Yeah. And then at some point when that happened, the top person trying to fly and the bottom person is heavy like a rock. And then some sort of fear, I think, came. And Jack was trying to point me very gently to that and guiding me to feel where I'm feeling the fear in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what helped. And then it never came. It never came after that. And then other kinds of things that I have experienced is that, so sometimes you just go to the retreat thinking that, okay, I'm leaving all my problems behind. I'm going to have a great time there. And then you go there and you notice that your problems have come with you.
They stowaways on your
Yeah,
luggage.
exactly. So I was thinking, before I went there, I think the day before we were talking about somebody who was making other people's life harder. It happens. We are all human. So, so I was thinking about that, and then I went to the retreat, and all of a sudden I noticed that, oh, I was thinking about this person, and then I said, oh, I thought I left you there. But you are here. And then the thing, okay, if you're here, you can have a seat. But I am in the retreat, you can have a seat, but I'm in the retreat.
Yeah.
So, these kinds of things, tiny, in small ways, you could see how the teaching and your practice together are helping you deal with small things.
Letting go.
Letting go, letting be.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to let be before it would let go.
Yeah, let be. Yeah, being with something.
Yeah.
Just like those things that never came again. You gave them your attention, your awareness.
Yeah.
And then you're able to release them because you were able to hold space for them.
Right. And then in the later retreats, again, wonderful insights have come, Again, they are in the context of, I grew up not as a Buddhist, but as a Hindu.
Mm-hmm.
And my previous study or practice or contemplative practice, I would say, had been more in the Vedantic tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So going to different teachers who teach in that tradition. So there are similarities between Buddhist ideas and Vedantic ideas. There are also misunderstandings, debates for,
Yeah.
hundreds and thousands of years. One thing that had always puzzled me was Buddhists talk about emptiness,
And the
and
emptiness of emptiness. Yeah.
Vedantins talk about wholeness, fullness.
It's
Okay,
almost the opposite.
yeah, opposite. And then in the retreats I have gone to, I have been able to bring these two concepts together. It depends on the perspective from which you look at. And then even in MBSR, it's such a small course, just two months,
Yeah.
but you can learn so much
Yeah.
and apply it. And my job is just to facilitate that process.
Yeah.
It's not like I have wisdom that I would give anybody. It's that everybody has the wisdom, and I kind of try to see how they can open their own pathway to access that.
Yeah.
So, so all of these things, I think I learned by practicing and spending so much time at the retreats. That would not have happened without going to those retreats.
Yeah. You needed those
I
contemplative
needed
moments and those teachers,
Yeah,
the connection to the teachers to
exactly.
give you
Yeah,
a roadmap to insights, a
exactly.
way to
Yeah,
think through your experience.
yeah. And then that, and I have gone to, so Jack had always said, go to different teachers.
Who are the teachers that you've gone to in your life?
I have taken courses from Jack and Joseph, I mentioned. Then, there would be in these multi-day retreats, there would be multiple teachers.
Right.
So usually there would be one person whose name comes first.
Yeah, kind of like at a big
Yeah.
festival, like a concert. You have like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that's
but
being Jack Kornfield.
they all act like equals.
Yeah.
But you can see. So then lately I have done courses with Guy and Jill Armstrongs, and then Phillip Moffat and Tweri Sala. So a lot of different teachers.
Yeah.
I'm in a year-long online program with Tweri and Brian something. Nowadays I forget names a lot.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So this online one is interesting. Again, it's based on a book on emptiness, actually. The course is on emptiness. So emptiness still, I still want to understand it more.
Yeah.
What it's about. Because, so there are these Buddhist concepts, impermanence,
Yeah.
everything changes. So we do that in MBSR. Okay, so you feel this itch. Okay, so what happens if you don't do anything?
Yeah, let it
right?
rise and fall.
And then you see that it rises and falls.
That's what I found when I first started meditating.
Yeah.
I would notice my whole body would almost itch. There'd be like different itches would pop up, and it can be really challenging to let those itches rise and fall.
Yeah. So you start with that, and then in MBSR we would focus. First day we would do that, and second week we focus on what is pleasant.
What is pleasant?
What is pleasant? How do you know that it's pleasant? How do you feel it? And then how do you react to it? Does it stay pleasant all the time?
Yeah.
What happens when it goes away?
Yeah.
So do you want more of it? Are there two kinds of pleasant? Ones that you want more of it, and ones that you are able to let go of? So what are those? And
Yeah.
people would say, "Oh, I watched this beautiful flower or beautiful sunset." Yeah, when you see a beautiful sunset, you don't grab the sun, 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 please stay.
Yeah, it's pleasant
It's
because of
pleasant.
its
The
scarcity.
oh,
It only
yeah,
happens for that moment.
yeah, and you want
You've
to.
been there.
You've been there,
You're
and the
present.
experience stays with you.
Yeah.
So we talk about those kinds of things. So that's how we go into this grasping and clinging.
Mhm.
Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Okay, so we talk about our perception before we go into the pleasant. Say how the perception, how you perceive something, plays into your stress. What you see and what you miss. So, and in MBSR class, we read a lot of poems, a lot of stories, metaphors. So instead of making it there have been so many scientific studies on this, but instead of, making it a medical class where you present the papers or the
Mhm.
results, it's not a conference type of class. It's more of a way how people can relate to it in their own life.
Yeah.
People can make sense of poetry. People can make sense of stories and metaphors. So we do that instead of boring data and
Read this
graphs.
peer-reviewed
Yeah, exactly.
publication.
Look at this chart.
Oh my goodness.
We had to do that
Yeah.
to in our teacher training.
Yeah.
We had to read a lot of papers.
Yeah.